Hello everyone and welcome back to Meat-Based Fitness. Today, we're tearing down the veiled curtains of the modern hospital system, a system that's not just failing us, it's actively harming us. Hospital food is killing you. This isn't just a statement, it's a dire warning. As you lie in your hospital bed, weakened and hoping for recovery, the very institution sworn to heal you is undermining your health with every meal they serve. Processed carbohydrates, inflammatory seed oils, and a disturbing absence of real nutrition. Forget healing. The food served in hospitals today is a cocktail designed to prolong your illness, feeding the disease, not the patient. As an advocate for a return to diets filled with nutrient-dense, animal-based foods, rich in saturated fats, cholesterol, and proteins, I'm here to expose the toxic truth behind hospital menus and champion the foods that truly have the power to heal. So, without further ado, let's uncover what's really on your hospital tray. And, more importantly, why. There is a fundamental flaw in the healthcare system, a flaw inherent to the very operation of the system. In today's capitalist landscape, hospitals are ensnared in a web woven by financial incentives that do not align with the cure of disease. This is not mere speculation, it's a structural predicament rooted in the economic model that governs our healthcare system. At the very heart of this issue lies the undeniable truth. There is zero financial incentive for hospitals to cure diseases. Why? Because in a system where profit reigns supreme, the true goal is not to heal, but to maintain a steady flow of returning customers. This might sound cynical, but when you peel back the layers, the evidence is glaring. Our healthcare system is dominated by powerful monopolies who control the regulatory bodies, exert massive influence over governments, and shape the narrative of public health information. How, may you ask? The answer is very simple. Money. Always follow the money. These monopolies have a vested interest in controlling the truth. They fund studies designed to mislead the masses, promoting findings that vilify red meat and protein, while glorifying foods that keep the population in a perpetual state of ill health, such as seed oils and high-carbohydrate diets. It's a twisted game of chess where the pawns, patients seeking genuine healing, are sacrificed for the profit margins of these all-powerful monopolies. But how did we get here? The answer is as complex as it is disturbing. Over the decades, the intertwining of money and healthcare has created a behemoth that feeds on itself. Western hospitals, although never perfect, and historically have always been dominated by dogma, were still infinitely superior to today's excuses for hospitals that have corrupted into the cornerstones of a healthcare industry that profits from the chronic illness of the population. The system is rigged in favor of treatments that promise return business rather than solutions that might offer permanent relief. This influence extends beyond hospitals and into the very agencies tasked with our protection. Regulatory bodies, which should serve as impartial guardians of public health, are often swayed by the financial muscle of pharmaceutical giants and food industry behemoths. These entities invest heavily in lobbying efforts, ensuring that policies favor their interests over the well-being of the populace. The result? Guidelines and dietary recommendations that are more a reflection of corporate agendas than real scientific truth. The propagation of flawed studies is another weapon in their arsenal. These parasitic corporate giants are constantly funding research that casts doubt on the benefit of nutrient-dense, animal-based diets. Why? Well, because if an ancestrally consistent way of eating, free of the toxic rubbish that makes the masses as unhealthy as they are, were to be adopted by the public, it would almost certainly completely crush the profits of these big pharmaceuticals in just a few short years. Because of this, these monopolies feel it necessary to muddy the waters of nutritional science. The aim is not to enlighten, but to confuse, leading the public down a path lined with sugar-laden processed foods that exacerbate health issues rather than alleviating them. In this ecosystem, the concept of healing through food, especially through the potent nutrition offered by meat, organs, and other animal-based products, is not just ignored, it's actively suppressed. Why? Because healthy, nourished individuals do not make profitable patients. The sicker the populace, the deeper the pockets of the healthcare and pharmaceutical industries. The idea that almost all forms of disease can be addressed through dietary change and proper nutrition has almost been transformed into a societal taboo, in my estimation, largely due to the subtle propaganda propagated by these corporate giants. Don't believe me? You likely know at least someone with some form of lifelong ailment. Just think for a moment. What is their diet like? It's terrible, isn't it? Now, try suggesting to this person that their health issues might be resolved, or at least improved, if they were to optimize their nutrition, cut out inflammatory foods, etc. I can almost guarantee that you will receive a negative response or some form of pushback. For the average person, the idea that 99% of modern health issues could be solved by proper nutrition is almost offensive. Ask anyone what they think the main cause of cancer is, and they will tell you genetics. But if that was the case, how then is it possible that the global cancer cases in people under the age of 50 have risen by 79% between just 1990 and 2019? That doesn't seem genetic to me. Yet, to even suggest people's diets might play a bigger role than genetics in these increases is seen as a societal taboo. The grim reality paints a picture of a system in dire need of overhaul. We need a system where the financial incentives are realigned with the genuine health outcomes of patients. Until then, the battle for health is not just against disease, but against the very structure of a healthcare economy that thrives on the perpetual unwellness of society. So let's get into the exact topic of this video. What exactly is so harmful about hospital food? Well, the very sustenance provided to aid in recovery is often laced with ingredients that, far from nourishing, will instead impede healing and exacerbate health issues. Soy, seed oils, and processed sugars, among many others. These ingredients, pervasive in hospital diets, are not just benign fillers, but carry with them a whole host of negative health impacts. Here we have the ingredients list on the back of milk, or at least something labelled as milk, that a grandmother who was in the hospital for several weeks was given to help her rehabilitate. The long-term negative health impacts of consuming these ingredients cannot be overstated. Chronic inflammation, exacerbated by diets high in processed foods, seed oils and sugars, underpins many of the diseases hospitals aim to treat. The irony is palpable. Foods served with the intention of healing, instead, are contributing to the very conditions they purport to ameliorate. The solution is not merely to remove these ingredients, but to fundamentally rethink hospital nutrition. A shift towards whole, nutrient-dense foods can support the body's natural healing processes. Foods like grass-fed beef, wild-caught fish, organ meats, and fresh fruit provide the micronutrients and macronutrients essential for recovery. They support immune function, reduce inflammation, and promote gut health, laying a foundation for true healing rather than merely offering a stopgap solution to hunger. Looking back in medical history reveals a stark contrast between past and present nutritional healing practices in hospitals. There was a time when the medical community embraced food as the cornerstone of healing, recognizing the profound impact of nutrition on the human body's ability to recover from illness and surgery. A striking example of this enlightened approach is found in the early 20th century practices of the Mayo Clinic. Under the guidance of Dr. J.R. Crew, his milk cure, administered between 1910 and 1930, revolutionized the treatment of chronic and terminal illnesses through the simple yet profound prescription of 1 to 2 gallons of raw, grass-fed milk daily. Dr. Crew's meticulous documentation in his article, The Milk Cure, provides invaluable insights into the therapeutic power of this approach. He observed remarkable improvements in patients suffering from heart and kidney diseases, high blood pressure, and even conditions as challenging as severe psoriasis and diabetes. For instance, Crew noted significant weight loss and blood pressure reduction in patients with cardiac issues, all achieved without medication. Even in cases where conventional wisdom would caution against high fluid intake, such as edema, the milk cure repeatedly proved its efficacy, challenging prevailing medical assumptions. This was first started over 100 years ago. Yet today, the so-called milk given to hospital patients is such a regression it would be laughable if it wasn't harming the health of millions. So what exactly is my point? Well, with this video, I hope to shed some light on just how corrupt and harmful the healthcare industry has become. The way hospitals neglect the pivotal role of nutrition in recovery, opting instead for cheap, processed options full of harmful ingredients, is a disservice to patients. This isn't just about food, it's a reflection of a system where profits trump patient health. We must demand better, because healing should be about nourishing the body, not just treating symptoms. It is time for a change. With this channel, I try to be a bastion of truth in an era of nutritional misinformation. If that interests you, please consider subscribing. I would be most violently grateful. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.